Welcome to all of our listeners. This is Gil,
This is Lou.
and I am having technical difficulties. You are listening to Good Talks. So while I fix this, I'm going to have you take the.
As
Yeah.
always. Okay, so in this episode, we wanted to talk about stuff that happened during the week. Not too much, I guess, on the dark side. But, kind of giving a little recap of where we're at with this whole coronavirus quarantine situation and some of the, I guess you could say pop culture or events that have happened during the week. Even though I could say it's not much because, everybody's on lockdown. So, starting off, so everyone understands, I watch Governor Cuomo's daily press conference Monday through Friday. And it's like now part of my routine. Not because I just love hearing people talk, but because I don't know, and I think I'm not alone in this sentiment because I've seen it on Facebook. I've seen other other New Yorkers say the same thing, that they feel like he's handling the situation pretty damn well. I mean, technically, we're the epicenter of the whole outbreak in the United States. We have about, I think more than 50% of all the total amount of cases, we have it in New York City. So, and unfortunately also the deaths. So I think that his handling, in fairness, I don't even listen to de Blasio's press conferences. And honestly, I stopped listening to Trump's too. So I listen to Cuomo's every day, and he comes off as being very prepared, very well spoken, and on top of his stuff, and he's handling it. He does push back a little bit if he feels like people or reporters or media, whoever, are asking questions in a negative tone. He will push back a little, but for the most part, he seems very knowledgeable and forthright. So you pretty much trust what he's saying. So this last week, there's actually been a lot of stuff that happened. So I think it was the end of last week the prior week, where they turned the Jacob Javits Center, which is a convention center, it's around 34th Street and 12th Avenue. They turned that into a makeshift hospital. The Army came in to help, and they converted it into a hospital. It accommodates about 2,500 patients. Initially, it was going to be non-coronavirus patients because they didn't want to have regular people that are sick mixing with the people that have coronavirus because the regular people that are sick could get worse. And it just, by the way, if you hear anything in the background like screaming, it's because here in New York, they do this thing at 7:00 where everyone screams out their windows, I guess in appreciation for the healthcare workers and the essential workers who literally put their lives on the line to go out every day and still work. So, people, you will hear a little bit in the background of people screaming. Somebody, no names, didn't know what they were doing yesterday and decided to scream out the window to shut up because he didn't know it. I heard him from a different room because we weren't sitting in the same room. And I was like, no, don't do that. So it was pretty funny. So anyway, going back to the Javits Center. So they initially were going to have non-coronavirus patients. And now, because the amount of regular patients have gone down so dramatically, they've actually switched the gears and decided they're going to take in only coronavirus patients who are being transferred from the normal hospitals, from the hospitals in New York City, which I think is probably what it was better suited for. And they said that they have it capable of being like 2,500 ICU beds. I just got a text message. Shout out to Giovanni, who is an EMT and has also been an essential worker and has been busting his butt out there on the front line. There was this other thing that happened earlier in the week, which this is probably the last press conference that I watched from Trump. And it was that I don't know why, but it's like sometimes I think he goes a little too off script and he says these things that maybe he's thinking out loud or something. But he said something like he kind of insinuated that it wasn't possible for New York City to be so short on the PPE equipment. Oh, now the firehouse is joining in on the on the stuff. Insinuating like as if they're going out the back door or they're being stolen or whatever. I thought it was a careless comment. Like, it shouldn't have been said. If he even thought it, then let him think it, but he shouldn't have said that, because I think it kind of opened up a bad can of worms that it wasn't necessary. The other thing that's going on, and I think that during the course of the week, I think it's become a little bit more serious in other parts of the country. New York City, we've been locked down probably for I've been working from home since about the 13th of March. That's when things started to get kind of bad. I know other people in other parts of the country, those cases are not popping up just till recently. So they're not, or they were not, some people were not taking the whole social distancing thing seriously. So they were still gathering at churches or social events or parties. And until I guess it happens close to home, I guess it won't affect certain people, which is unfortunate because, personally, I would hope not to know anyone that has been suffering from this or ends up, dying from it, because I think it's a scary thing anyway. So when it gets to be personal, I think it makes it, I don't know, it makes it harder. So the other thing that happened during the week is that there's a Navy ship. It's called the USS Comfort, and it's basically like a Navy hospital. And I think during the Hurricane Maria, they sent it down there towards the end of, I don't know, I think almost a month later, when the death toll started to rise and they started to have a lot more people overflowing the hospitals, and the power was still, kind of on and off. So the Navy ships kind of go where there's need. Like, they usually are docked. This one, I think in particular, was docked in Virginia, and then they sent it over to New York City. So that just arrived during the week, and that's another 1,000 beds. But those are going to be specifically non-coronavirus cases. And that's because they said, and I saw this on a press conference later in the week, they were saying that it's hard for them to disinfect the whole ship if they, and for this virus not to get out of control because it's too confined. So they don't really want to deal with it, which I understand that. I mean, it's a scary thing. They have a lot of Navy personnel and their own medical staff and everything that's working on there who they don't want to expose. It's understandable. So that also happened in the week. And what else? So there was a little controversy during this week also about to wear a face mask or not to wear a face mask. And personally, we started wearing face masks going outside at least for the last, week and a half, almost 2 weeks. And that is because we already know that New York City is the epicenter. It's a given at this point. It's undisputed. And to be honest, it made me feel a little leery to go into anywhere that was a smaller space, like a supermarket. Our supermarket here is small. So I would say on any given day, there could be, on a normal day before quarantine, there could be 50 people in there. And it's small. So what they started doing, what we started doing first was wearing face masks and gloves. And then secondary, now the supermarkets in the area are all limiting the number of people that go in. So now they're only letting about 10 to 15 people in. And that's understandable because, again, you're increasing exposure in confined places. And this place, there's just 2 doors, one entrance and one exit. So there's no windows, there's no nothing. So I guess during the week, someone in the administration said that they didn't think face masks really do anything. But then I think the next day they retracted that because CDC came out and said, no, people should really be wearing face masks if they go outside. And again, I guess my vote is better to be safe than sorry. So I will continue wearing our face mask. And The gloves, I do it only when I go to the supermarket because you have to touch the produce and the stuff that you're buying. You have to stick it in your basket. You have to touch the basket. You have to touch the, your card when you take it out to pay. So I just feel it's just too many surfaces that you're touching. So if we're going to go to the car or just take a walk, I don't put my gloves on. But if I'm going to the supermarket, definitely. And always having Purell. We're trying to use our Purell wisely. It just happened that I bought a big one right before this whole thing went down, before I knew what was going on. So we're trying to make that stretch for as long as possible, since obviously between that toilet paper and paper towels, you can't find it anywhere. So the other thing that we saw, let me see here. Oh, I guess the last big thing, a couple big things, was Andrew Cuomo, who's the governor of New York City, or New York. His brother, Chris Cuomo, who's on CNN, was diagnosed with coronavirus. He did, I guess, exhibit some symptoms, but he's not hospitalized, so it's not that bad. So that was something big in the news, like, all week. And the other thing is that New York City is starting to get a little desperate for volunteers or retired healthcare workers to come in. They first, I guess, were reaching out to people, but then they sent this like mass message on everyone's cell phones, like an alert, so that people could sign up for it, because they're going to start seeing shortages. So yeah, that's a little scary when you see it too. I didn't expect that. Are you ready now, sir?
I'm ready.
And that's it from our coronavirus update.
Really? That's all you have?
No, I'm sure I got more notes, but yeah, that's it.
That's it. So what did we go over during my?
I'm not gonna go recap for you.
So can you tell me?
You could read my notes.
Oh my Jesus! So what'd you have? What'd you say?
Oh,
I mean,
the only other thing I didn't say, which I guess is not a positive thing, is that within the last 2 weeks, there's been a total of 10 million people who have applied for unemployment, and that's very sad. It's very sad. A lot of businesses are closed. Even here, when we walked down the street a couple days ago, a lot of the small businesses are closed, and it's very unfortunate.
It's quiet. It is super quiet. I'm not gonna lie. It's super quiet.
It's very eerie, actually.
Yeah. I mean,
well, besides the 7 p.m. people screaming outside, that's it. That's all you hear. I mean, besides that, an ambulance.
All right. For the record, I had no idea what they were screaming for.
I know. I saw it on social media.
I didn't see anything on that says 7 p.m. We all scream for our
healthcare workers and stuff.
Like I didn't see that. I never saw that. So I'm over here screaming at them to shut the hell up. So I felt bad afterwards when I found out why.
Did. Yeah, yes, you did.
But it was really annoying. It's just like, you're screaming at the top of your lungs. You're not really saying anything. You're just going, woo! Woo! It's just like, oh my gosh. For crying out loud, I'm trying to play Division.
Oh my God.
Seriously, I need to hear footsteps.
Game time interrupted.
Why do I want to hear, screaming while I'm, in the middle of a mission on Division? No. Just let me play in peace. But then I understood after you told me. Mm-hmm. You were like, I can't believe you did that.
I'm like,
you're sleeping on the couch. And I'm just like, no. I don't want to sleep on the couch. Well, it's only a 2-seater.
And there's only 2 of us. There goes that one.
So yeah, I did feel a little bad. But then I got over it. I'm just saying.
Now you know going forward.
Now I know going forward. So I did yell. Did a 2-second yell before we started. And then my headphones weren't working because they weren't charged.
Slacker.
Right? I had everything prepared. Everything was ready to roll. And then all of a sudden, my damn headphones weren't working. Hold on. Let me get this for you. So we went over, you spoke about Cuomo, right?
Yeah.
And what is he? He's in quarantine right now, right? He's quarantining
Chris
himself.
Cuomo, yeah, he's in his basement, and he can't even be around his kids and his wife.
I would love to be in a basement. I'm just saying, I would love to be in a
Really?
basement with a 100-inch monitor TV or whatever, maybe a DLP, 4K. I don't know. So yeah, I mean, again, it's pretty good. He got a pretty good deal considering how many of us are not in that same category, in that same boat. What are you looking for?
The volume. You're
The
too
volume?
loud.
I'm sorry, I can't help it.
Okay, go ahead.
So yeah, what else? What else is there?
Well, that's it for that. Okay. Next to discuss. Oh, you had the history of the response.
Their history. Oh, you mean Trump's response to this?
Yep.
We got to make a smoother transition to these stories.
You're the one that has to remember.
We have to make a smoother
the
transition to these
timeline
stories.
here.
This is not working. Let's see if I can get another host.
Yeah, right.
We were talking the other day. The other day, and I mentioned to you how, I mean, again, I for one, it's not like I'm a Trump supporter. I'm not a Trump supporter. I am a president supporter. Right? Unfortunately, he isn't the one that many of us chose. But I told you that I felt like, listen, when he came in, everyone was going crazy. When they found out that he won, they went nuts. And I thought to myself, let the dude, let him do his thing. Let's see what happens. Why are we going to go crazy? We won't be able to do anything, right then and there. We can't. So let's see what he does. And that's what I believed until he spoke. Until he kept speaking. Speech after speech after speech. Now, again, I never went to school. I didn't graduate, with a major in geopolitics or anything like that. History isn't that great for me. I know enough, but not enough to,
Maybe
answer,
not political science.
Yeah, answer every question that comes my way about country. Again, and Trump, neither. But again, he's our president. What are we gonna do? Like I told you before, I don't think necessarily he's the one that we have to worry about and watch out for. I believe it's the other ones that we have to watch out for.
The advisors and stuff.
Oh, of course, the advisors, senators. No one thinks about them. They always think about the president. But let's be real. The president can only do so much. And right now, in my personal opinion, I think Trump he's a puppet. He is a puppet for everyone that wants something for themselves. And whether it be, another term for them or maybe, something under the table for them, keep their jobs, that's, it's the kind of crap that we have to deal with. But we have to kind of rule out the BS ones. And I've seen a whole bunch of them, especially during the impeachment trials. But in this particular case, so we have this coronavirus. Again, you have those who believe it's nothing. And then you have those who believe it's something. But so far I know of 2 people who have who've gotten it. One is a family member, his mate, I believe, right? Mm-hmm. And another one is a colleague, and so I know it's real. Again, could this be the flu? Again, so many stories, so many statistics. How do you know? How do you know what's the truth? How do you deal with it? I don't know personally. But at the same time, I only know based on what we see, especially from our leader, the president. So I took the time to go back to when he first addressed it. When we had the first case, until I think March 22nd, I believe it was. But either way, this is what you pretty much get from the president when it comes to whether or not we were prepared or not.
The CDC has identified a case of coronavirus in Washington State, the Wuhan strain of this. If you remember SARS, that affected GDP, travel-related effects. Have you been briefed by the CDC?
I have.
Are the words about a pandemic at this point?
No, we're not at all, and we have it totally under control. It's one person coming in from China, and we have it under control. It's going to be just fine.
Coronavirus, Disney's closed.
Yeah.
Movie theaters are closed. Hospitals being built. I think we're now up to our 8th case in the United States.
Strain of this.
How
if you
concerned
remember
are you?
SARS, that
Well, we pretty
affected
much shut
GDP,
it down.
travel-related
Coming in from China.
effects.
We have a tremendous relationship with China,
been briefed
which
by
is
the
a very
CDC?
positive.
Are the words about a pandemic at this point?
No, we're not at all, and we have it totally under control. It's one person coming in from China, and we have it under control. It's going to be just fine.
Coronavirus,
We'll soon be down to
Disney's closed.
3 or 4
Movie
because we
theaters
take
are
them off the
closed.
list as
Hospitals
they get
being
better. And then
built. I think
recuperate.
we're
Like
now
if
up
you
to
have
our
the flu, you
8th case in the
recuperate,
United
you
States.
get better.
How
there
can
is-
you remember SARS?
We had
that
some, we had a
affected
great
shut it
meeting
down.
today with a lot
Coming
of
in
the
from
great
China.
companies, and they're
We
going to
have
have
a tremendous
vaccines, I think,
relationship with
relatively
China,
soon.
Briefed by
which
the
is very
CDC?
positive.
Are
And
the
they're gonna
words about a
have-
pandemic at this point?
Something that makes you better, and that's going to actually take place, we think, even sooner.
Coming in from China, and we have it under control. It's going to be just fine.
Coronavirus, Disney's closed.
3 or 4
Movie
because we
theaters
take
are
them off the
closed.
list as they
Hospitals
get
being
better. And then
built. I think
recuperate.
we're
Like
now
if
up
you
to
have
our
the flu, you
8th case in the
recuperate,
United
you
States.
get better.
How
there
can you
is-
remember SARS?
We had
that
some, we had a
affected
great
shut it
meeting
down.
today with a lot of the great
China.
companies, and they're going
We
to
have
have
a tremendous
vaccines, I think,
relationship with
relatively
China.
Briefed by
soon.
the CDC? Are
And
the
they're gonna
words about a
have-
pandemic at this point?
Something that makes you better, and that's going to actually take place, we think, even sooner.
Coming in from China, and we have it under control. It's going to be just fine.
Disney's closed. Movie theaters are closed. Hospitals being built. I think we're now up to our 8th case in the United States.
How can you remember SARS?
We had some,
that
we had a
affected
great
GDP,
meeting today with a lot of the great companies, and they're going to have vaccines.
President Michelle Center from CBS NewsHour. My first question is, you said that you don't take responsibility, but you did disband the White House Pandemic Office, and the officials that were working in that office left this administration abruptly. So what responsibility do you take to that? And the officials that worked in that office said that the White House lost valuable time because that office was disbanded. What do you make of that?
Well, I just think it's a nasty question because what we've done.
Americans were scared, though, I guess. Nearly 200 dead, 14,000 who are sick, millions, as you witnessed, who are scared right now. What do you say to Americans
You
who are
said that
watching
you
you right now
don't take
who are scared?
responsibility, but you did disband the White House Pandemic Office, and the officials that were
I think
working
it's a
in that
very
office left
nasty
this
question,
administration
and I think
abruptly.
it's a very
So what
bad signal that
responsibility
you're
do you
putting
take
out to
to
the
that?
American people.
And the officials
The
that worked in that
American
office said that
people are
the
looking
White
for
House
answers
lost
and they're
valuable
looking for
time
hope.
because that office
And you're
was
doing
disbanded. What do you
sensationalism,
make of that?
and the same with NBC and Comcast. I don't call it Comcast. I call it Comcast. Let me just for whom you work. Let me just say
14,000 who are
something.
sick,
Millions,
millions,
really
as you witnessed,
bad.
who are scared right now. What do you say to Americans
You
who are
said that
watching
you
you right now
don't take
who are scared?
responsibility, but you did disband the White House Pandemic Office, and the officials that were
I think
working
it's a
in that
very
office left
nasty
this
question,
administration
and I think
abruptly.
it's a very
So what
bad signal that
responsibility
you're
do you
putting
take
out to
to
the
that?
American people.
And the officials
The
that worked in that
American
office said that
people are
the
looking
White
for
House
answers
lost
and they're
valuable
looking for
time
hope.
because that office
And you're
was
doing
disbanded. What do you
sensationalism,
make of that?
and the same with NBC and Comcast. I don't call it Comcast. I call it Comcast. Let me just for whom you work. Let me just say
14,000 who are
something.
sick, millions,
Really bad.
who are scared right now. What do you say to Americans
You
who are
said that
watching you
you
right now
don't take
who are scared?
responsibility, but you did disband.
All right, so I don't know if you were able to hear all that and see
And the
what
White
you
House
get.
Pandemic Office.
But I'm hoping that it was nice. It was clear. There was no other background noise or what have you. I guess that's pretty much it. Because right now I hear like two different audios. But either way, as you can see from the video, if you were able to at least see it, was month by month, basically. From January to March, the end of March is when it was. All right, so I don't know if you were able to hear. So yeah, March, to the end of March. That's what it was. So I had to make sure, I had to double check. As you can see, it was a lot of BS basically. Now again, I can't say that. I'm not the president of the United States. I'm not running a country, so I know that there's a lot of things that a president will have to deal with. There was a show. I forgot the name of the show. It's with what's that dude's name? That actor.
Kiefer Sutherland? Are you
Kiefer,
talking
yeah. What was it called?
Designated Survivor.
Designated Survivor. Man,
you watched that? I didn't even watch it.
I mean, he was not a politician, and he just he went in there and he had to become a president and do presidential crap. That's basically what he did, and for the most part, he did a good job considering he had no experience whatsoever running a country. Again, from what I saw, just that first season, I was just like, dude, I would catch a heart attack my first 3 months. Like, having to deal with that. Like, I would definitely catch a heart attack my first 3 months. Having to deal with, foreign
relations and financial stuff.
So, again, it's a difficult thing. But at the same time, as a citizen, I kind of want to know what the hell is going on. Like, I want to know what's going on. I want to know what it is that I have to look out for. Again, the other side is, well, you don't want to panic a country, right? Because, you panic a country and people go crazy and act foolish.
Yeah, and everybody buys all the toilet paper. Like, what happened?
Right. I don't see how that happens, to be honest with you. And again, all you have to do is take a shower.
Let's not start that debate.
Wash your ass. I mean, you should be doing that anyway.
Well, it's funny, and I told you this when we went shopping, I think on the second time that we went, like, I guess you say major shopping, I said, we're getting napkins because that's always the fallback plan.
Right.
When you run out of paper, toilet paper, you run out of paper towels, you got napkins.
And for me, I'm a huge, huge fan of using a lot of toilet paper. Have you seen my ass? Hello. OMG. I mean, I'm the kind of person that needs to.
This is getting to be a little TMI.
I need to wet my toilet paper.
Enough.
I need to be clean.
Next subject.
Sometimes I can't take showers.
Next subject.
Just
don't make me mute you.
Don't mute me. Yeah,
the fallback plan.
Right. Oh, that's you. That is you. You know why? Because it's the YouTube. I'm sorry. We're streaming it live for you.
Oh, so I just heard myself.
So that's what it was, actually. That's what it was. We didn't mute it and just play
that's
it.
That's not we. That's
okay,
you.
Fine, it's me.
You're the technical
learning. I'm still going with the flow. But yes, I do feel like, again, as a leader, you got to make sure that you keep things under control. Unfortunately, Trump is not that kind of person. Again.
Well, this is why I said that I felt that Cuomo's doing a pretty damn good job as far as trying to keep things under control. Because honestly, for the amount of infection that's going around and the number of deaths in New York City, because we're talking within the 5 boroughs. We're not talking about New York State. We're talking about New York City. It's substantial and it's scary. But he doesn't make you feel so scared. He is, like, locking down stuff. Like, he also said this past week that he's locking down all the playgrounds. Like, because people were still, and it's not by purpose.
How do you lock down the jungle gym?
Well, you just put a lock on that bitch.
Oh my!
But no,
gosh.
I'm talking more about like the back of the schools. Like where they have the basketball hoop and all that stuff.
Right.
So locking those down because, again, people can't do anything. There's not a lot of outdoor space in New York City. So that, people congregate in the playground, not on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily going out in groups, but, you just have a lot more people in one area. So, yeah, that got locked down last week.
Again, it's crazy to me. I mean, the big softball field is still open where we're at, right? And they have like
But
little,
it's more. I guess it's wider.
it's an open area.
not
Well, I
confined?
guess he they don't want anyone playing like basketball, any kind of contact sport where you're gonna be sweating on each other and spitting or whatever the case may be. So maybe you can still play frisbee.
Yeah, because you're more than 6 feet
You
apart.
can still play badminton.
Oh yeah,
Right?
that's my sport.
I would think that you can still golf. I would guess,
I
right?
heard somebody on Facebook mentioned that golf courses are still open, and I'm assuming that they weren't talking about New York, but
I mean,
I
would
can
think
understand
there's
it.
some courses open. I mean, we have some courses over here in New York City.
You just have that shooting range thing on Chelsea Piers.
No, there's some actual courses out in the Bronx.
And yeah, exactly,
Queens,
out in the Bronx.
but
not in
nothing,
Manhattan.
obviously, not in Manhattan. Yeah, we can play golf, all right. Shooting off the buildings.
Yeah. And then
Again, I
killing
mean,
people.
yeah. There's a part of me that wants to cut him some slack. Not gonna lie, the part of me that wants to cut him slack. Exactly. It kind of boils down to, I feel people believing that they can do your job. You see what I mean? Like people believe that they can do your job, and that's how I feel about the presidency. I'm not gonna 100% shit on the dude. But at the same time, I don't really feel like he's the one pulling the strings, is what I'm saying. And he's not the one that you would feel safe with.
Well, that's why I said I think when he lets the doctors talk and the health professionals, I'm more confident in listening to them. That's just my personal opinion. Like I said, the only one that I've been watching more lately is Cuomo, and that's because, obviously we're in the epicenter. So you want to know what's going on here first and foremost. I mean, it's unfortunate that there's like outbreaks popping up in Florida and in California and Washington, in New Orleans. It's unfortunate, but it's not as close to home as when we hear it about what's going on here. At least that's my opinion on it.
I again, for me, it's a little fear, right? Because things are starting to get serious now. Like it's starting to get real. And it's not even the virus that is scaring me more. It's what happens afterwards. It's what happens when people lose their jobs. Mm-hmm. It's what happens when people lose their homes, when they run out of food. Where are they going to turn to? Who are they going to go to? What will they do in order to get that food, in order to get whatever they want? What do you think that, they're going to do? It's going to be crazy, especially in New York City. And, there's a lot of hot spots in New York City. I do believe if you live in the suburbs, and people know who you are, especially those areas, maybe like Pennsylvania, where they have, they're able to,
they have, it a concealed
yeah,
carry?
they can, you can own a gun. You can own an automatic rifle out there, a shotgun for that matter. So you go out there in the suburbs of PA and you try to do something stupid, you never know who you're going to run into. Mm-hmm. And I think that is one of the things, again, it's not like we have that luxury here, is what I'm saying. Shout out to Sierra, Santiago, and Linda, who are actually listening to us right now. Good jobs. So yeah, I think that's the thing that I'm most fearful of. I'm most fearful of what happens afterwards, because the reality is, I am, am I like Rambo? Am I that dude that's gonna, that has all these damn weapons that's gonna shoot up the place if you screw around with me?
Well, we have our nightstick and golf club.
And we do. I have scissors.
And then we always have knives. But yeah.
No, in all seriousness, yeah, I can't really say that I can shit on the dude, 100%. But I do believe that he is not the one who's in charge. That's what I honestly feel. He is not the one in charge. The ones in charge are the ones behind him. They're the ones in charge. He's just the cover.
The spokesperson.
He is the front. That's what I feel. Again, there were, when you listen to some of those responses, right? If someone, one of the reporters asked him, what do you say to the people who are afraid? He said, he basically just
Berated him
like
because he had no good answer.
he had
for
no
that.
response. He had no response. And again, I would need someone who's going to be honest and say, whatever it is, but something more positive and uplifting. That's basically it. So, and he hasn't done it. He hasn't. I mean, not to say he hasn't done it, but at the same time, it's not believable from him.
There's no consistency. There's been little glimmers, but nothing consistent.
That's what my problem is. I don't believe him. I don't have faith in him. Whether or not he's done good things, right? Bad things, good things, I just don't have the faith in him. And that's my problem. So right now it may be okay now because we're like, we're just chilling right now,
Well, like I said, I feel like he's not controlling what's going on here in New York City. It's more of the governor who's dealing with it. And I'm more confident in him.
Welcome, Miss Pagan, Maddie Pagan. Spring break is canceled. I was looking forward to quitting. Okay, I can't say that.
So, on to lighter subjects.
It is true. I mean, again, I wish that I could. Again, I work for the New York City Department of Education, and there's a part of me, I'm not going to lie, that wishes I could take that break off. But then there's that other side of me that's saying, and I'm going to be honest, let's be real, I'm probably going to get shit for this, but we're working from home. We don't have to travel. We don't have to deal with traffic coming into the city if you live in Jersey, Queens, or whatever it is. We don't have to deal with that crap in the morning. We don't have to wake up super early in the morning. You do have that extra hour of sleep, maybe 2 hours of sleep, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would I like the week off? Of course I would.
Oh, I think you need to kind of explain what you're referring to because
Spring
some
break?
people don't know
What?
about this.
Which one?
The fact that your spring break has officially been canceled.
Oh, well, yeah. I just read it. Spring break is canceled. Unfortunately, we do have to work, but I don't mind it. I don't mind,
Well, we're just grateful we still have jobs.
well, that's another thing. I don't mind working, with the students. I don't mind, trying to do what I can for them. And I think most of it is based on emotional support, it seems, at this point, because they're not used to this. And some of them, I wouldn't say some, but many students, especially, the students that I work with, the school that I work at, many of them are coming from households that are not exactly easy to be in. So going to school is a way for them to get away from it all, if it's horrible. And now they have to deal with it. And that's one of the biggest issues that they face. And I feel bad. I really do feel bad. So my job right now is to make sure that I provide enough emotional support, and on top of that, make sure that they do their work and so on and so forth. Do I mind missing the week? Of course I mind. But at the same time, I'm working from home. I don't have to worry about getting dressed, dealing with the streets, traveling to work. I don't have to worry about anything, wasting gas, nothing. And the fire department has arrived. Again, this is New York City, so you're going to get a lot of that. So I don't mind it, but at the same time, I do mind it. At the same time, I don't mind it. And I really hate how most people sound like it's the end of the world for them. I don't like it. And I get it. I'm going to get shit for this.
Well, wait, let's you're talking about the spring break thing.
Right.
Ah, okay.
Right. I mean, there are going to be those who don't do anything. Zero. And they work for the DOE. There's going to be a lot of them who don't do anything.
Well, and they're the first ones to complain.
I should hope that I don't hear them. I mean, it's as simple as that.
So I also feel for the parents who are trying to work from home and homeschooling the kids, and especially if they have multiple kids. Like if they don't just have one. To me, that's like two jobs in one.
Right.
And then forget about having to take care of the household too, like cleaning and cooking and
Hey,
stuff.
how do you feel now about having to deal with your kids on a daily basis from 8 a.m. to 2:20 p.m.? Or
I
3
don't feel
o'clock?
anything because
Well,
my
not
kid's
you.
22 years old
Well,
and he's out the house.
Well, not you, but I'm just saying, it's not an easy job.
No, that's why I said I feel for the parents.
It's not an easy job. It isn't it's not easy having to educate our youngsters. It's not an easy job. But of course, like I said before, you have those who feel like they can do your job. Again, it's not an easy job. Now, I do commend, our teachers, man, because they do have to deal with a lot of BS, a lot of politics, a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of garbage. So I do commend the teachers, and for me anyway, for my colleagues, I would hope that I could help with whatever it is that they're dealing with as well. So I always extend myself. Again, the other thing too is our nurses, everyone who's on the front line. They
get
just
the biggest applause.
Could you say that that's their job? That
Some people are saying that.
they
I saw
signed
some
up for
stuff
it.
on Facebook. Yeah, but nobody signs up for a pandemic.
Well, no one signs up for a pandemic, but no one signs up for, just cleaning boogers and, the common cold. They sign up because they know that they're going to probably face a lot of crap.
Yeah, but again, I don't think they thought of anything in the vicinity of this.
I mean, again,
Even natural disasters, like them, the healthcare workers have to deal with natural disasters. What Cuomo mentioned, and it's true, usually the natural disaster comes in, it goes out, they deal with a little bit of the aftermath, and then it's done. This has seemed like we don't know when this is going to end. We don't know when it's going to get worse. We don't know when it's going to end. There's a lot of uncertainty, and I think that's part of the problem. It's because we're not sure how bad it's going to get.
right.
And then we're the people who have to, like you said, stay home. But the people that have to deal with it are the people in the hospitals and the doctor's office
Right.
who are seeing it every day, multiple shifts a day, and then personally having to still come home and possibly, infect their own family. Like that's a lot. That's a lot. I do think that they should have some type of extra hazard pay or something for this. I think this is an extraordinary circumstance.
It is.
So I think that they deserve something extraordinary.
No taxes 2021.
I'd be down
Right.
with that.
No taxes for the whole year, for the whole entire year of
I would
2021.
vote for that if they were to put it on the ballot.
To everyone who was on the front line, no taxes. Whatever you buy, no taxes. You want to buy a house, no tax. You want to buy a car, no tax. You want to buy electronics, buy me a MacBook Pro.
Yeah, right.
No
You don't need no more electronics.
Okay, fine. But either way, I mean, again, that's who that's who I commend. Everyone who's dealing with something that's difficult. I mean, again, this is difficult times. I've never faced this before. I'm not too sure how to go along with it in an easy way without thinking. It's very hard for me. I'm always thinking about the what ifs. But at the same time, the only thing I can do is enjoy myself and enjoy whatever time I have, because there is, I guess, something where they said that a person who is infected will be admitted to, right? They go into ICU or whatever, and their families or friends or whoever it is, they are not allowed to see them.
Nope, no visitors at all.
So just imagine if you are, if you're a person who contracted the virus and now you're, pretty bad. So you have to go into ER, and they said, yep, you got it. And you have to go into, they have to take you in or whatever. That's it. That's pretty much it.
Basically isolated
Yep.
after that.
So once you pass that rope, no one else can go in and see you. So every day that goes by that you're sick, every day that you're there, no one can see you. If you die, no one will ever know until they call you.
Well, obviously.
Until they call you. So the whole,
yeah.
so you're thinking, you're home like wondering, oh my gosh, what's happening to Billy? I don't know if there's I don't know a Billy, so I'm sorry. Just making sure. I'm just making up a name. Billy dies maybe the next day because of everything that's happening. They call the family and they say, Billy died. So you pretty much couldn't see Billy for 15 days or whatever amount of days. How shitty is that?
It's sad.
It's super sad. Very sad. I don't know what I would do, to be honest with you. I'd find a way to sneak into the damn hospital if it were you.
I said they're gonna have to come and arrest me because I don't know if they'll be able to take me out of there.
Seriously, I don't know. I'd
They would have to call the police and tell them to remove me. 'cause I
I'd
don't
pay
think I would
someone
just
to
leave.
act as if I, if I'm a doctor or something like that, get
Get you
the
some
thing.
scrubs.
I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. If you're deathly ill, I'm putting on some scrubs, snatching a name tag or something like that and sliding in there. I don't care if I get sick. If I'm able to see you.
Oh, don't do that. Damn it.
Shut your mouth.
Don't do that.
Getting emotional here, man. I would make sure that I see you. I'd make sure at least to give you one last kiss before you go. At least to see me before your eyes are, whatever. Whether they close or stay open, who knows? I'm just saying.
Don't talk about that. Okay.
No more emotions for me, man. This sucks.
Ugh. So anyway, for some of us who work from home periodically, and just to finish this topic up, it's not the same as normal. Once in a while working from home is fine. It's fine to me. I enjoy it. However, I think that being home this much, it does make you feel very, and I feel that I feel like a little stir crazy. It takes me like a couple days of not going out.
I had to take you out for a walk.
Yeah, I felt like my son's dog Bella.
OMG. What was it, yesterday?
You said I look like a little puppy sad.
Yeah, it was yesterday. It was yesterday where I noticed that you kept walking back and forth and you were just like standing next to me. Like that's what a dog would do when they want to go outside.
I should have screamed
When they
want to
go when they want to go pee pee or something, pee pee or poo poo. That's what they would do when they want to go outside. So I said, you know what? All right, come on, let's go. I didn't want to go outside. I really didn't. Mm-hmm. But I was like, you know what? Let's go. Let's go. You do shit for me. So the least I can do is, take you for a walk.
Yeah, which brings us to our next topic.
What's the next one?
Quarantine cooking.
Oh,
I have to say,
quarantine cooking.
This is like the highlight of my day. This is the highlight of my day, is planning on what we're eating, because I don't know about other people, but I enjoy cooking. It's just I don't get to do it often enough. Like, I guess I can do it on the weekends because that's the only time I'm off. But it's hard to do it during the week. So, I have to say I enjoy it. I thoroughly enjoy it.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but again, just for those who are listening, if you do want to chime in, send a text message or whatever. You can easily do that by texting 646-396 0846. That's 646-396-0846. Let us know what you've been doing in order to, while dealing with this quarantine situation. Go ahead, quarantine cooker.
Yeah, so if anyone has my Instagram, they already know that I post a lot of pictures of food. But I have to say, I haven't been overindulging. I have been being relatively good during the course of the day. It's just like, I feel joy when I cook. So,
I feel joy when I eat.
Yes, you do. And the other thing is, this is, again, not a paid advertising, but we subscribed to HelloFresh before this whole thing went down. And I have to say, they're still on point. They still deliver every week. And I have to say, it is one of my highlights of the week. When I get the box and I see what we're going to plan for the next few days, it's good. I enjoy it.
I enjoy it just as much because I'm not cooking it. You are. And
yeah, you're spoiled.
And all right, you know what? Yeah, I got you. This week,
you haven't even prepped for me anymore. You used to prep the food.
Well, no, I remember I used to, in the beginning of the HelloFresh, I would make the food myself. I would cook it myself.
Know.
And when you got home, it was almost done.
I would say halfway.
Halfway done?
Yeah.
But then I stopped because you do it better.
Oh, whatever.
I'm sorry, you do it better. I'm sorry.
I like seeing you in the kitchen cooking.
What kind of way?
It reminds me of the scene from Baby Boy when when he goes to the kitchen at Ving what's it, Ving Rhames?
Ving Rhames, yeah.
Butt
When he
naked
was
in
all
the
butt
fridge.
naked. That's right. That's me. Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
I personally, so because of this quarantine situation, what I'm doing is I'm actually learning how to edit videos and do all this other stuff that I normally wouldn't do because I wouldn't have the time. But I find that I have more time to do things that I wouldn't normally do, like, learning how to edit videos and stuff like that. And obviously the podcast and designing and doing everything for the podcast. So that to me is something that that I actually enjoy doing now during this quarantine time. So I don't know. It does have its, positives. I'm just not looking forward to the negatives in the next, couple of months or so.
Well, I think one of my positive/negative things is TV.
Oh,
I feel like I watch entirely too much TV.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say that I watch a lot of like reality shows because I don't. But I feel like I watch a lot.
You know what I miss watching right now? Sports.
Oh, yeah.
I miss sports. So my mic is not working again. My headphones, rather. So I'm just going to wing it right now. I miss sports. And one of the things that that I can't get away from is being able to, watch my highlights, stuff like that. And obviously football. There's no more football.
Well, football's been over, so hasn't been interrupted. But baseball was interrupted.
Well, yeah, baseball definitely, because this is the season.
Yeah.
Started.
And basketball was canceled too. You're not a fan of that, but other people do.
Yeah. So again,
I'm hoping that football's not affected by this.
Well,
I hope this is
at
over by then, because that's the sport I like to watch.
The craziest thing is that Trump is actually trying to keep the season open in September. I don't know how he's going to do that. I don't know how he's going to.
Well, I think it's too early to know if he can or can't.
Right.
Because again, this has to run its course and be done with before. And I do think, and you mentioned it after, the after effect of this whole thing. I don't think this is just going to be over and then life goes back to normal.
Yeah, well.
It's going to be a transition.
Tell that to Trump.
Well,
tell that to Trump.
Again.
So there was a conversation, I guess a response with Adam Schefter on ESPN about the upcoming season and the fact that Trump is saying, the season is going to be ready. It's going to start in September like normal. And Schefter was he wasn't having it. He kind of wasn't having it.
So for us non-sports people, who's Schefter?
He's an analyst.
Okay.
He's an analyst on ESPN. And again, he wasn't having it. Check out the clip.
With all that said, if there was ever a case of political football, it is here, and so is the NFL's best insider, Adam Schefter. What are people around the league saying in response that you've heard to President Trump's comments on Saturday?
Well, Zubin, everybody wants football back. We all do, and we hope President Trump is right in his assessment that he wants the season to open on time in September. But Alan Sills, the NFL's chief medical officer, addressed it this week, as did Dr. Tom Mayer, the NFLPA's medical director. And nobody knows right now. There has to be a system of testing in place before we're going back into stadiums. Maybe they could develop a vaccine at some point down the line, which doesn't sound like it's going to be at some point this season. And as much as everybody wants football to be back, it's hard to imagine it being back in front of huge crowds. You heard the California governor, Gavin Newsom, come out today and say he doesn't anticipate we all do, football games being played in the state of California this season. He wants the season to open on time in September. Now, maybe they take those games for the Rams and the Chargers and the 49ers. Maybe they're playing them this week in Nevada or Arizona or somewhere nearby. The fact of the matter is, Zubin, this story changes on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis, often dramatically. We don't know where it's going. It's not going in a good direction right now. And it's too early to say that there will or won't be football this season. All we know is that this country has some major issues to address before we can even get to the issue of whether or not there'll be a football season.
No question. Like you said last week with Scott Van Pelt, priorities have to come into play here. The NFL schedule is scheduled to be released no later than May 9th. Whether there's a season that comes to fruition remains, like many things, unknown. Adam, thank you.
Thank you, Zubin.
All right. Not too sure if you were able to catch that, man.
You could just put a link to it in the.
Yeah, I'll put a link to it.
video.
But unfortunately, man, it was just Schefter going, expressing his feelings on the, on the upcoming NFL season, if there is one anyway. But again, I'm not too sure what's going to happen. Hopefully there will be a season. But at the same time, I'm not going to want a season at the expense of our health. So there goes that one. Other than that, man, this past week, a couple of more things before we head off. The NBA Hall of Fame announced the inductees, and I must say it's an amazing, amazing group. Kobe Bryant. It's one of the 8 finalists. Tim Duncan, I call him the backboard king because of his shot, shooting off the backboard, off that square. He's the only one I've ever seen who could do that nasty. And Kevin Garnett. So those 3 solid NBA players, man. Some of the best in the game in history. So that's a good, good class. So R.I.P. to Kobe Bryant. And yeah, it's a sad week, Well, it's been somber this past week, obviously with Kobe Bryant's death earlier. But now he's enshrined. He's going to be enshrined in the Hall of Fame. So that's actually pretty solid, along with Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett. You also have Tamika Catchings of the Indiana Fever. She's nasty. You have Coach Kim Mulkey, 3-time woman and NCAA champion, Baylor. First-time Division II Coach of the Year, Barbara Stevens of Bentley University. 4-time NCAA Coach of the Year, Eddie Sutton. And Houston Rockets coach, Rudy Tomjanovich, 2-time NBA champion. It's pretty dope. If you are in the hunt to watch some basketball, I'm going to give you some information so that way you can watch live basketball.
Yeah, but live in what sense?
Well, I'll tell you since you asked. So it's not exactly it is the NBA.
Uh-huh.
Technically, it is the NBA.
Yes, NBA is in the name.
Technically, it's in the NBA, but it's NBA 2K20.
So those video game people, it's a video game.
Right. If you do miss a little bit, a little bit of basketball action, and you want to see some live, basketball competition. They're having an NBA 2K20 player tournament that's streaming live. Today was 12 to 4 o'clock, but Tuesday, April 7th, it's going to be on ESPN2 from 7 to 11 p.m. So you may want to check that out. And then the semifinals and finals is going to be on Saturday, April 11th on ESPN. The time to be determined.
This is what the world has come to.
I mean,
where we have to watch video games.
You're gonna see
basketball.
some of the best in action.
Oh my goodness!
Again,
hilarious.
If you miss watching,
you just
sports,
really need it.
Sports on TV. This could be it. This could be the one.
This could be the future.
This could be the future, exactly. So you never know.
So why didn't they do this for like MLB? I
think they still can though. MLB The Show, but it's only on the PlayStation, which sucks. I hate the fact that there's only one baseball game out there, and that's for the PlayStation. I'm an Xbox player myself, but yeah, it sucks. But either way, if you want to check out a live basketball competition,
and I guess another live thing to do. On Saturdays and sometimes even Sundays and maybe Fridays. I've never checked out on a Friday. There are some DJs who are doing live mixing, I guess is what you could call it. So there's like in particular, there's one that's been publicized a lot, and his name is DJ Nice. And I think he's originally from the Bronx, but he's out in California now. And apparently he's like a celebrity DJ. And he had last night is the first time we actually listened to it because I remembered. And he had like 68,000 people on an Instagram live feed.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
It was a lot of people.
Now, we then, after he went off, then we tuned into Alex Sensation, who's more of a New York City. Well, I think he started in New York City. Yeah.
It's all Spanish.
Like a Spanish station DJ. And I think now he's in Miami or something. And then he went on for like another hour after that.
Yeah. It was actually good.
Which was pretty cool. So we felt like we were at the club.
Yeah.
But in our house.
We had a little something.
Yeah. We had some drinks.
Yeah.
And Jenga.
Milk on the rocks.
It looked like chocolate milk.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So again, on a Saturday night, you have that Bluetooth speaker. You want to check out some DJs. Again, they didn't ask us to plug them.
Oh yeah, we're gonna check out a new one that a subscriber told me about this morning. Her name is Sierra. His name is where the heck did it go? I think his name is Timmy Trumpet or something.
You got a Bergen.
Oh yeah, Timmy Trumpet.
Bergen Killy Ill.
And he's like a EDM DJ. So we're gonna check that.
Yeah,
next.
I definitely want to check that out.
We're gonna check that out next week.
I like EDM. So again, on a Saturday night, if you have nothing to do, around 7:00, I'm pretty sure that's when the party starts.
Yeah, I think some of them start at 6:00 and some start at 7.
Get that Bluetooth speaker ready. Hopefully the connection is good because sometimes they sound like a little crappy, the audio quality. But yeah, so that's on Saturday nights. And again,
and like we said, we're not sure if it's on Fridays. And I saw DJ Nice did it tonight too on a Sunday, but he's the one I think originally calling it like a club quarantine. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That's pretty dope.
And it's free.
Sad, but pretty dope.
I know it is kind of sad.
Yeah. So there goes that one. So that's what you can do on a Saturday. And again, we they didn't ask us to plug this in. We're not getting paid for any of this. We're just shooting this out for you guys, so that way you have something to do.
Giving you some quarantine options.
Yeah. So again, we're pretty much ending our, the end of the show, but we wanted to talk real quick. I guess you can talk about it because I don't. Me talking is like 3 years.
Oh yeah. I'll give you the condensed version about what.
Well, you know what? I'll do it. About what?
Wait,
all right.
wait,
so
what?
we started this thing. Again, we were thinking, based on everything that's happening right now with the coronavirus and being quarantined and people who are, like we said earlier, having to deal with being in the hospitals and not being able to see their families, their friends, possibly losing their lives. Families not knowing what's happening, then to be called and said, hey, your father, your mother, your friend, your brother lost their life. It's very sad. So we came up with the Good Talks Challenge. So.
What's the Good Talks Challenge?
I'm just going to read off what I posted earlier. So the Good Talks Challenge is a reminder that we are not alone. Many of us are facing issues that most of us have not even experienced. Our hearts go out to all those who have lost someone. The only thing we can do is try to ease the pain and make sure you have someone who cares. So make sure you take on the Good Talks Challenge and let someone know how you feel about them. Use your time wisely. So here's what you have to do. You would take a 30-second video. Mm-hmm. Expressing your feelings or your care about someone. You have to post a positive message about a person or group. It's a 30-second video, right? Mm-hmm. Second thing is you tag 5 people and use the hashtag Good Talks Challenge. That's what you have to do. So after you create the video, the 30-second video, sharing a positive message about a person or a group. You tag 5 people and use the hashtag Good Talks Challenge. So hashtag Good Talks Challenge. And those people who are tagged will have to make a video and challenge up to 5 more.
We're just trying to spread positivity and so people don't feel that they're alone.
Right. And like I said in the in our Instagram post, you know, old or young, it doesn't matter. This virus, you know, it's pretty much changed our lives. You know, we can continue blaming other people for this, but all we're doing right now is wasting our valuable time, and we can focus on the ones we care about. This is why we started the Good Talks Challenge. This is the time to share your positive videos about the ones you care about and or the ones who you feel make a difference in your lives. All it takes is 30 seconds, a hashtag, and a tag, and that's it. So, all you have to do is spread the word and the love. That's all you have to do. And I started mine, or rather I did mine earlier before the show. Actually, I was late because of that.
Always a slacker.
But yeah, I posted mine. And it was about my grandmother and my aunts and my uncle and my mom, who have been taking care of my grandmother, who has dementia. And it's pretty rough. But they're doing a good job. And that's all you can hope for, you know? And it's a good thing about having family. So for those who are not with family, who are alone, having to deal with this quarantine and whatever else, make sure you shoot out a message to them, expressing how you feel and wishing them well, because all it takes is one word for someone to feel really, really good. And I think it would be great to have, 30 seconds, 30-second video sharing your emotions, your feelings. So that's pretty much it.
So you can always check out our website,
www.goodtalksnyc.com,
or our Instagram page is at goodtalks_NYC. And you can feel free to leave us comments or any ideas for things that you'd like to hear about.
Oh, yeah.
Good Talks.